Now to the end of the world.
This year is cause for concern. Concern that we've only got a year left on the planet.
Some say the world ended in 2012 and we didn't even notice. Not with fire, nor with flood, but with a quiet, imperceptible shiver beneath Switzerland, when CERN's Large Hadron Collider powered up and smashed particles together at near light speed. Since then, a peculiar unease has rippled through public consciousness. Why do we remember things differently? Logos that changed without warning, film lines that were never spoken, people alive who were once declared dead. These phenomena, often brushed off as faulty memory or coincidence, have forced some to say that CERN portals had something to do with the day reality glitched. So, is this true? Has reality ceased to exist? Well, today we'll debug everything and give you a glitch-free answer. Let's update our collective software. CERN and the LHC, grounding the mystery in reality. Officially known as the European Organisation for Nuclear Research, from the original French name Conseil Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire, CERN is one of the world's most advanced centres for fundamental physics research. Situated near Geneva on the Franco-Swiss border, CERN was established in 1954 by 12 European countries to promote peaceful scientific collaboration in post-war Europe. Over the decades, it has expanded to include 23 member states, and its reach has extended well beyond the continent, drawing in scientists from over 100 nationalities and hundreds of institutions worldwide. It is home to some of the most sophisticated scientific instruments ever built, the most famous being the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC. The LHC, which lies about 100 meters underground, is the largest and most powerful particle accelerator on Earth. It spans a circular tunnel of 27 kilometers, or roughly 17 miles in circumference, and was completed in 2008 after nearly 3 decades of planning and construction. The primary purpose of this immense machine is to accelerate 2 beams of particles, typically protons, in opposite directions at speeds approaching 99.99%, the speed of light, before colliding them head-on. These high-energy collisions recreate conditions that existed just fractions of a second after the Big Bang, offering physicists a window into the fundamental forces and particles that shape our universe. Sounds remarkable, doesn't it? But this is only the beginning. Perhaps the most celebrated scientific breakthrough to come from CERN was the discovery of the Higgs boson on July 4, 2012. Predicted by British physicist Peter Higgs and others in the 1960s, the Higgs boson is a fundamental particle associated with the Higgs field, which gives mass to other elementary particles. Its discovery validated a crucial part of the standard model of particle physics, and earned Higgs and François Englert the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2013. However, long before the scientific accolades, CERN and the LHC were the subjects of global fascination and fear. In the lead-up to its first full-power launch on September 10, 2008, a wave of public anxiety spread online and in media circles. Some feared that the collider might produce miniature black holes that could devour the Earth. Others speculated about the possibility of the machine tearing open space-time itself, causing reality as we know it to unravel. A few lawsuits were even filed to halt its activation. In Hawaii, a retired nuclear safety officer, Walter Wagner, claimed in a lawsuit that the LHC posed an existential threat. CERN addressed these concerns directly, publishing safety reports and peer-reviewed studies asserting that any such black holes would be microscopic, unstable, and pose no threat whatsoever. Adding to the aura of mystery surrounding CERN is the statue of the Hindu deity Shiva, which stands prominently in the complex's courtyard. Gifted to CERN in 2004 by the Indian government, the bronze sculpture portrays Shiva Nataraja, the lord of the cosmic dance, a symbol of the cycles of creation and destruction. While the statue is intended to reflect the cultural collaboration between India and CERN, and to symbolize the rhythm of the cosmos, many outside observers have interpreted its presence more ominously. To conspiracy theorists and internet sleuths, the figure of Shiva, especially as the destroyer within the Hindu trinity, seemed an eerie and deliberate emblem for a facility accused of meddling with the very fabric of existence. The online reaction to CERN and the LHC has reflected this blend of awe and suspicion. In the wake of the LHC's first operational run, the internet lit up with viral memes, doomsday countdowns, speculative videos, and pages of user-generated theories on Reddit and YouTube. While some of it was clearly satirical or tongue-in-cheek, other content reflected genuine anxiety about the LHC's power and potential consequences. The 2016 viral video purporting to show a human sacrifice at CERN, later revealed to be a hoax staged by employees, only fueled the flames of suspicion, prompting the organization to issue formal statements reaffirming its commitment to scientific transparency and dismissing the video as a prank. Despite the fantastical narratives that have sprung up around it, CERN is first and foremost a beacon of cutting-edge science. Or is it? Well, let's take one conspiracy theory and dissect it neutrally to better understand it. The turning point. Did reality change on July 4, 2012? On July 4, 2012, scientists at CERN announced one of the most significant discoveries in modern physics, the detection of a particle consistent with the long-theorized Higgs boson, as noted earlier. However, following the July 4th announcement, internet forums, Reddit threads, and YouTube channels saw a noticeable surge in discussions related to the so-called Mandela effect. This term, coined in 2009 by self-described paranormal researcher Fiona Broome, refers to a phenomenon in which large groups of people remember specific details or events differently from recorded history. While Broome had focused on misremembered details about the death of Nelson Mandela, since many recalled him dying in prison in the 1980s, despite his actual passing in 2013, the idea exploded into a broad category of collective memory anomalies. After mid-2012, examples of Mandela effects began to multiply. People swore that famous brand logos had changed. Fruit of the Loom was suddenly missing its cornucopia. Febreze had one E too few, and the children's book series The Berenstain Bears was no longer Berenstein. Movie lines seemed altered. Darth Vader's iconic line was remembered as, "Luke, I am your father." Yet audio recordings confirmed, "No, I am your father." These changes were often subtle, such as small shifts in spelling, phrasing, or visual layout, but were unsettlingly persistent across different individuals and communities. What added to the intrigue was the frequency with which these claims emerged post-2012, leading some to question whether the announcement of the Higgs boson had somehow marked a boundary between two overlapping realities. This hypothesis, though outside the scope of conventional science, posited not a dramatic cataclysm, but a seamless nudge from one quantum state of reality into another. In quantum theory, the idea of parallel universes, part of the multiverse hypothesis, allows for countless versions of our universe to exist simultaneously, with slight differences. Theories suggest that under certain extreme conditions, such as the enormous energy densities generated by the LHC during collisions, reality might have experienced a quantum-level shift, subtly landing us in a neighboring branch of existence where history proceeded almost identically, but with small discrepancies. So, was our previous reality destroyed and we got shifted to another reality? Is the world, as it was before 2012, no more? Well, the timing of the Mandela effect surge, correlating closely with the Higgs boson discovery, continues to feed these narratives. Psychologists offer explanations rooted in memory science. False memories, confirmation bias, and the reconstructive nature of human recall are known phenomena. Memory is malleable and can be reshaped by suggestion, repetition, or social reinforcement. The spread of Mandela effects may be amplified by the digital age's echo chambers, where one misremembered detail can gain traction and trigger widespread cognitive dissonance. Nonetheless, for those who feel the shift personally, the psychological explanations don't feel sufficient. Many report the sense of something intangible, such as buildings looking wrong, faces on currency appearing unfamiliar, and even familiar routes feeling subtly different. Combined with the symbolic magnitude of the Higgs boson discovery, the so-called God particle, revealing mass to the universe, it is easy to see why some interpret July 4, 2012 as a metaphysical milestone rather than just a scientific one. So, what is it? Shared false memories or evidence of timeline shifts? The term Mandela effect was first coined in 2009 by Fiona Broome, a self-described paranormal researcher, after she discovered that several people, herself included, vividly remembered Nelson Mandela dying in prison during the 1980s, except that this never happened. In fact, Mandela was released from Victor Verster prison in 1990, went on to become the first black president of South Africa in 1994, and died on December 5, 2013. The widespread and detailed nature of these incorrect memories, down to recollections of news coverage, public mourning, and even state funerals, led Broome to speculate that this could be more than simple confusion. Thus, the term Mandela effect was born to describe what appeared to be shared false memories across large groups of people. Since Broome launched her website documenting the phenomenon, examples of the Mandela effect have proliferated online. Some of the most well-known instances involve iconic cultural touchstones. One such case is the Monopoly Man, the mascot of the Monopoly board game. Many people remember him sporting a monocle, yet official Hasbro imagery confirms he has never worn one. Another striking example involves the 1979 James Bond film Moonraker. In it, the towering henchman character Jaws, played by Richard Kiel, famously falls for a petite, pig-tailed blonde named Dolly. Many viewers recall a humorous moment when she smiles to reveal a mouthful of braces. However, current versions of the film show Dolly without braces, leading fans to insist that something has changed and that their collective memory cannot be dismissed as coincidence or oversight. A further pop culture case frequently cited is C-3PO from the Star Wars franchise. While most people recall the droid as being entirely golden, he actually has a silver lower right leg in the original 1977 film A New Hope. This detail is well documented in behind-the-scenes production photos and was later corrected in toys and promotional materials. Yet, countless viewers remain adamant that the silver leg was never part of their memory. According to researchers like Elizabeth Loftus, a cognitive psychologist and expert on the malleability of human memory, the Mandela effect is best understood as a product of false memory. Memory, unlike a photographic recording, is reconstructive rather than reproductive. Each time a memory is recalled, it is reassembled, potentially incorporating new information, assumptions, or emotional associations. Confabulation, where the brain fills in memory gaps with fabrications, is a well-documented phenomenon, particularly when there is a social or emotional context that supports the false belief. When large groups are exposed to similar cultural influences, they may misremember the same thing in the same way. This creates what feels like proof of the memory's accuracy. However, some suggest that these discrepancies are evidence of alternate timelines, parallel universes, or quantum bleed-throughs, which are phenomena where memories from one version of reality persist even after a shift to another. This idea is loosely connected to the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, first proposed by physicist Hugh Everett in 1957. According to this theory, every quantum event creates a branching universe, resulting in a multiverse where every possible outcome occurs in some version of reality. While not supported by empirical evidence in this context, the idea of residual memory from another timeline aligns with this framework and has become a core theme in Mandela effect communities. All we can say for sure is that collective conviction can transform error into mystery, For years now, people have proposed that high-energy collisions at the LHC could create microscopic black holes, or rips in space-time. Some have gone further, alleging that such experiments either accidentally or purposefully tore open a doorway to another reality. One recurring theme is the notion of cross-dimensional bleed-through, where memories, data, or even entities traverse between parallel timelines or universes. These ideas often borrow language from quantum mechanics, particularly the phenomenon of quantum tunneling, where particles appear to pass through energy barriers they should not classically surmount. While quantum tunneling is well understood at the atomic scale, its extension into macro-level phenomena remains unproven and largely outside the scope of accepted science. Multiverse theories, however, are not purely the domain of fringe thinkers. Physicists like Michio Kaku, a co-founder of string field theory, have publicly discussed the possibility of multiple universes existing simultaneously, separated by tiny quantum distances or differentiated by variant physical laws. Theoretical models, such as the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics and brain cosmology from string theory, suggest that what we perceive as a singular universe may actually be one of countless others. However, there is a persistent confusion between the metaphorical and literal meanings of scientific terms, especially when language borrowed from mysticism or religion is used to describe complex physics. Popular media, from television shows like Stranger Things to films like Interstellar, further blur the line between hard science and imaginative storytelling, feeding a collective unease about what modern science might be capable of behind closed doors. What is particularly compelling is that the imagined apocalypse evoked by portal and multiverse theories is not explosive or violent but subtle and introspective. It is not about the world ending in fire, but about the world shifting quietly and imperceptibly, with people waking up to find details changed, memories altered, and reality slightly out of sync. So, could alternate versions of ourselves exist? If timelines are overlapping, how would we know? Are misremembered events merely cognitive errors, or are they the whisper of a universe just beyond our grasp? These are the kinds of questions that lie at the edge of both science and imagination, questions that may never be fully answered, but will always invite wonder. So, what do the experts have to say about all of this? CERN's official position. CERN has consistently and unequivocally denied the notion that its experiments have opened portals, triggered timeline shifts, or fractured the dimensions of space and time. Rather than resetting the universe, as some internet theories claim, the discovery of the Higgs boson was a triumph of international collaboration and scientific perseverance. It confirmed a theory central to modern physics and led to Peter Higgs and François Englert receiving the 2013 Nobel Prize in Physics. No metaphysical side effects were recorded, and the parameters of known physics remained intact. A recurring public anxiety tied to CERN's research involves the fear of black holes. These concerns often stem from popular media distortions rather than scientific reality. While some theoretical models suggest that ultra-high energy collisions could momentarily produce mini black holes, any such phenomena would be microscopic, on the order of 10 to the power of minus 35 meters, and would evaporate almost instantly through Hawking radiation, a process outlined by Stephen Hawking in 1974. CERN has repeatedly stated that these hypothetical black holes would pose no danger, and to date, no experiment at the LHC has produced one. Extensive safety reviews by international panels have reaffirmed the collider's security protocols and environmental safeguards. One of CERN's most compelling defenses against conspiracy claims is its commitment to transparency and global peer review. The LHC's experiments are not conducted in secrecy. Over 13,000 scientists from more than 100 countries work on its various projects, analyzing vast datasets and publishing results in open-access scientific journals. The data is made available for scrutiny, and every anomaly is meticulously documented and reviewed. Crucially, not a single peer-reviewed study has presented credible evidence of dimensional tampering, timeline disruption, or anything resembling a breach in space-time integrity. So why do these conspiracy theories persist? At the root lies a combination of public misunderstanding, fear, and the seductive nature of the unknown. Particle physics is inherently complex, laden with jargon and abstract concepts that are difficult to communicate without specialized training. High-tech facilities buried underground and staffed by PhD-level scientists evoke images that feel more like science fiction than science fact. In the absence of easily digestible explanations, the public imagination fills the gaps with speculation, often fueled by memes, viral videos, and pseudoscientific narratives. Human beings are natural storytellers and pattern seekers. We look for meaning in randomness, order in chaos, and explanations for experiences that defy logic, such as déjà vu or the Mandela effect. The idea that CERN might be responsible for subtle shifts in memory or perception appeals to a psychological desire for causality and control. The internet accelerates this process. Platforms like Reddit, YouTube, and TikTok amplify fringe ideas by rewarding engagement. Algorithms designed to maximize watch time and interaction tend to serve users content similar to what they've already consumed, creating echo chambers. In such digital spaces, communities form around shared glitches, such as collective memories of logos, names, or events that seem to have changed. These groups validate each other's perceptions, reinforcing the belief that reality itself has been altered. What makes these narratives particularly resilient is their emotional resonance. Advanced scientific endeavors like those at CERN symbolize the frontier of human knowledge. But for many, that frontier appears alien and opaque, prompting existential unease. The abstract becomes mystical. Concepts like mass, energy, or dimensional brain begin to feel more like incantations than explanations. Under stress, particularly in times of societal upheaval or constant digital stimulation, the human mind becomes more susceptible to confusing memory lapses. The year 2012, the same year the Higgs boson was discovered, has become a focal point in speculative subcultures. Though there is no scientific evidence of a dimensional rupture, many people report a subjective sense that something changed around that time. This is a classic case of cognitive dissonance. The world feels strange, and CERN becomes an attractive scapegoat or symbol. In truth, it may not have been particles that shifted, but perception. The rise of smartphones, the dominance of algorithmic media, and the fragmentation of attention may have changed how we experience and remember reality. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.